Welcome to IRL Media News. I'm your host, Chris Thompson, and today we're taking a look at the merc with the mouth. That's right, we're talking about none other than actor and serial entrepreneur Ryan Reynolds and the unique business empire that he's built, all while staying on top of his acting career. We'll explore how Reynolds got his start in the movie industry, the companies that he's invested in, and his most recent investment in the Formula One racing team Alpine. All that and more on today's episode of IRL Media News. Let's get into it. Before we dive into this story, do me a favor and click the subscribe button down below and leave a comment saying I subscribe, and I'll respond. Thanks. Ryan Reynolds was born on October 23, 1976 in Vancouver, Canada, and began his career in the entertainment industry in the early 1990s, primarily appearing on television shows and made-for-TV movies. He had guest roles in popular series such as The X-Files and The Outer Limits. These early appearances helped him establish a foothold in the industry and eventually helped him to transition to the big screen in the early 2000s with mainstream comedies such as National Lampoon's Van Wilder in 2002 and Just Friends in 2005. Despite his notoriously cheeky quips and on-set improv, Reynolds has also established himself as a dramatic actor with lead roles in The Amityville Horror in 2005 and Green Lantern in 2010. But as it turns out, romance was actually in the air on the Green Lantern set, where Reynolds would meet his future wife Blake Lively, which I might add might be the only good thing that came out of the Green Lantern movie. But let's not beat around the bush any longer. Come on, we all know Ryan Reynolds best from his role as Deadpool, aka Wade Wilson. When Deadpool premiered in 2016, it was a massive box office hit, and he's still cashing in on it to this day, as Reynolds and director Sean Levy of Stranger Things are currently shooting Deadpool 3 for release in May of 2024. But if you really want to see some comedic genius, check out Reynolds in Blade 3, where he plays a wisecracking vampire hunter, or maybe that's just his real personality, along Wesley Snipes' character Blade. I'm just saying that because I'm a huge Blade fan. Want to talk about Ryan Reynolds' business deals? In 2018, he co-founded a production company called Maximum Effort, which is a cheeky reference to Deadpool's personal mantra in the Deadpool movies. Maximum Effort! Through this enterprise, Reynolds secured a 3-year first-look deal with 20th Century Fox Studios. In June 2021, the marketing division of Maximum Effort was spun off and became a separate company, which then merged with MNTN Software. Through this marketing arm, Reynolds has been actively involved in creating ads for some of his own brands, including Aviation American Gin and Mint Mobile. Because he apparently still didn't have enough on his plate, in August of 2022, Reynolds took an equity stake in FuboTV and announced a co-production partnership with his Maximum Effort studios. This partnership includes the launch of the Maximum Effort Network on FuboTV, where Reynolds and his team will create original content. Currently, Maximum Effort is working on a live-action adaptation of the board game Clue with the writers from the acclaimed Zombieland and Deadpool. Reynolds has obviously taken professionals' advice to diversify his portfolio very seriously. In addition to his marketing and production companies, he's also put his star power behind a variety of consumer brands and products. Back in 2018, Reynolds acquired a stake in Aviation American Gin, expressing his intention to oversee the product's creative direction and actively participate in the business. Just a few years later, in August of 2020, the company was snatched up by Diageo, the world's largest spirit company, for around $610 million. It's rumored that Reynolds made $122 million from that deal alone. Cheers to that. But Ryan Reynolds' business empire continues to expand with no end in sight. Let's talk about what's likely his most popular and heavily advertised business venture, his ownership stake in Mint Mobile, which he purchased in November of 2019. Fast forward to March of 2023, when T-Mobile announced the acquisition of Comedic Corporation, who is the parent company of Mint Mobile and also owns other brands such as Ultra Mobile and Plum. The deal was valued at upwards of $1.35 billion. That's billion with a B. Reynolds doesn't get to keep all that money for himself, but he does own around 25% of Mint Mobile, so he probably made around $337 million from this deal. Talk about making a mint. And then we have what might be my personal favorite investment that Reynolds has made. In September of 2020, he purchased the Welsh football club Wrexham A.F.C. No, not that kind of football. We're talking about soccer here. And in true Reynolds fashion, he made a show, literally, out of buying and running the new soccer club called Welcome to Wrexham. The deal even inspired a hilarious interview with his wife Blake Lively, where she talked about how she was furious that her husband could make such an impulsive and expensive decision without first consulting her. See, star couples argue about money just like the rest of us. But Ryan Reynolds isn't the only star involved in the Wrexham A.F.C. acquisition. He was joined by fellow actor Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's a funny story about how Ryan was watching a soccer match on TV and got the idea to buy a 5th-tier Welsh soccer team, which inspired him to slide into the DMs of Rob, who had actually never met IRL, and pitch the idea, to which Rob obviously said yes. because when Ryan Reynolds slides into your DMs, you always say yes. Reynolds and McElhenney officially took over the club in November of 2021 and went on to win the 2023 season and get the team promoted to the 4th tier of English football. You think the fun stops there? In November of 2022, reports circulated that Reynolds was interested in acquiring ownership of the Ottawa Senetors hockey team. He confirmed his interest on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon and attended a Senators game, receiving a standing ovation. However, it was later reported that he withdrew his bid in May of 2023. But in April of 2023, Reynolds did invest in the Canadian payments company called Nuvei, though specific details of the investment were not disclosed. Most recently, in June of 2023, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney again joined forces as part of an investment group that purchased a 24% stake in Formula One racing team Alpine. A monumental $218 million was invested, making the valuation of the Alpine team around $800 million. The rumor on this deal is that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney didn't even actually invest any money in the company, but they'll receive a 5% in the company in exchange for marketing campaigns and leading the investment deal. Nice work if you can get it. Reynolds and McElhenney's maximum effort investments, alongside other consortium members such as Atro Capital and Redbird, possess extensive experience and involvement in the sports industry, which is a great relief, or else I'd worry about another Hollywood actor trying their luck in the sports world. Atro Capital has focused on football, yes, the American football you were thinking about earlier, with investments in teams like the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns. Redbird Capital invests in Fenway Sports Group, which owns prominent sports clubs such as Liverpool FC and the Boston Red Sox, as recently as acquiring AC Milan. There's several ways that the consortium's experience is expected to benefit the Alpine racing team, which is majority owned by the French car maker Renault. Renault recognized the marketing potential of its F1 team and rebranded it as Alpine in 2021 to generate greater interest in the sports car brand. With French driver Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly, who have both achieved Grand Prix victories, and operations based in both England and France, Alpine has a solid presence in Europe. However, the consortium's involvement becomes particularly valuable because the United States is a critical market for Alpine's future expansion. Alpine plans to launch its A110 sports car in the United States in 2026 and aims to have all of its planned car models available by 2027. With the consortium's understanding of the American market, their role as new investors brings significant advantages to Alpine. In the end, it looks like Ryan Reynolds can save the world from evil villains, get the girl, and even pad his wallet, all while traveling the world in style. It's all in a day's work for this actor turned entrepreneur extraordinaire. Sign up for the IRL Media News e-newsletter, where we discuss everything from Swiftonomics to Lionel Messi's pink jersey. Check out the link in the description. That's it for this episode. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get the latest news from IRL Media News.